Hey, Broncos fans, it is that time again. The weather's starting to cool off. That means it's college football season, and Fayetteville State and the Broncos are at home at Nick Gerald Stadium on September 3rd for first kickoff against UNC Pembroke coming into town. I'm Andrew Chapman, and we're getting ready for the start of week one of the CIAA season as the Broncos, fresh off their trip to the CIAA championship in 2021, try and make another run at a conference title. This is episode 1 of the Pigskin PressTalk.
Beat mechanics.
All right, welcome in, Broncos fans. It is the first edition of the 2022 Broncos Pigskin PressTalk. We're just 1 week away from kickoff at Nick Gerald Stadium. UNC Pembroke coming into town for week one of the 2022 season, and we're joined by a big chunk of the coaching staff here and a couple of the players that will be down there on the field this year to watch. Of course, head coach Richard Hayes. We have Dominic Anderson, the defensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator Howard Fagans with the program for the first time this year, joining up in 2022, and then a couple of guys on the offensive and defensive side of the football. Brandon Barnes-Brown, the defensive back, along with offensive tackle Michael Todd. So welcome, guys, and here we go. We're a week away. Coach Hayes, I'll start with you. You know, this past week of practice, how's it been? I know everybody really started officially getting ready August 1st, and how have the few weeks been leading up to the season so far?
Well, I think we had a great preseason camp. The guys came in. They worked really hard trying to understand the schemes. We had a new offensive scheme going in with Coach Fagan, so the offensive guys have done a good job. We got a few more familiar faces on defense, so I don't think the task was quite as challenging for the defensive guys. But we're just fired up and ready to go.
Coach Anderson, one of the biggest headlines in the offseason was, of course, the drafting of Joshua Williams. He's now a Kansas City Chief, 4th round draft pick, and he's on to begin his NFL career. You got to be thrilled for him. You know, there was a guy, he had some draft hype going into the season, but he kind of seemed like he put that out of mind, just focused on himself, focused on the team, getting through that season, and sure enough, you know, the opportunity of a lifetime comes about. So what can you say about his final season and what it means for the FSU Broncos program to now have a guy in the NFL?
Sure, no, you know, it wasn't really a big surprise for us as a staff, just because of how much attention he was getting. But we are super proud to see him going for the Chiefs. I know he had a couple of really good preseason games and a lot of good hype going around. So, you know, we're not surprised at all, though. Just the type of kid he is, hard worker. So he's representing us really well.
And Brandon, I gotta imagine that's one of your guys from last year, man. So you must be thrilled to see him move on to the next level. How much do you get to talk to him still? I know he's probably got his phone blowing up all the time now.
Yes, sir. We definitely talk to each other at least once a week, for sure. Sometimes a little bit more, but we definitely check in with each other at least once a week.
I saw that you were just named to the Reese's Senior Bowl watch list just recently. What's it mean to be named to that? Because I know that was something that Joshua had going for him into the season last year as well.
Yes, sir. It means a lot. Just to know that the year I had last year didn't go unrecognized and everything like that, but just focus on this upcoming year.
Mm-hmm. Michael, you know, it's your second season now in the program, your sophomore year. What was your favorite part about playing in front of that Fayetteville State crowd last year and the atmosphere of Nick Gerald Stadium when you've been around it?
It was electrifying. I was trying not to get the crowd shock and stuff like that, but it was fun. Playing in front of the crowds. Real fun.
Yeah. How's the chemistry been building this year with the offensive line and of course your quarterback Kahari Lane and some of the new wide receivers that you have transferring into the program?
We learning fast, you know, new stuff, new scheme, new coach. You know, real fun.
On the offensive end, Coach Fagans, of course, we got the former Tar Heel, now part of the program and helping head up the offense this year. I'm curious about your path to coaching on the offensive end, because when you were with the Tar Heels, you were a defensive back. That's where you took it to the NFL as well. Where did that transition come for you over from the defensive side over to the offensive side? Because I know you've been with a lot of different high school programs and college programs coaching since, and now over to FSU.
Well, after I coached secondary at Wingate University for 2 years, I left to go to Miami, Ohio. And so when I transitioned to be a receiver coach, it was an easy transition because my job is to show them what it's like to be a defensive back. And so therefore I needed to teach receivers how to get off on releases, secondary coverages, and that was really the start for me. And so I think a lot of the great coaches have been on the opposite side of the ball.
I saw that we do have some new transfers into the program this year on the wide receiver side of things. What can you tell us about the new look to the receiving corps this year?
Well, one of the best things is that, you know, when teams can load the box, we feel that we have the ability to go deep. We have some guys that we can throw the ball to. You know, I look forward to seeing what takes place on Saturday.
Coach, we got a lot of preseason all-CIAA guys return to the program this year. Of course, you've had the departures, but, you know, you got your quarterback, of course, who's a big piece in Kahari, Devin Cowan on the defensive end, Brandon as well. Forgive me, I think I'm forgetting one more. Oh, your kicker, Elton Andrews. So you got just about everything covered there. The main piece on the offensive end, you got the D-line, the secondary, you got the special teams guy right there. So it must be nice knowing that you kind of have those staple positions coming back to your program this year.
Well, it just shows that we're pretty good in all three phases of the game, and people recognize that. You know, Elton has a super strong leg. He's out there kicking the ball from midfield. Brandon Brown, I don't have to say much about him. He speaks for himself. Kahari Lane had a pretty good junior campaign. And then the other one, I can't remember who you said it was, but Devin Cowan. Devin Cowan, he's the anchor of a defensive line, and he's done a good job so far.
That's going to go a long way, Coach Anderson, in replacing Keyshawn James. I would imagine having Devin with a big season. Of course, losing Joshua, as we mentioned as well, to the draft. How do you fill the void left by those guys, such key players for you last year?
Yeah, he was very disruptive for us in the inside there. You know, what we did was we got a couple of transfers in that should help us out, and then some of those young guys that were redshirted last year, C.J. Madison, Anthony Binyard, those guys will kind of fill that void. So,
Brandon, of course, you're one of the leaders of the defensive unit this year. You know, how do you think your leadership style kind of plays with the guys? You're more of a vocal guy, or you're more of a lead by example type guy? How would you kind of go about working with the younger guys this year?
I'm more of a lead by example. I try to go out and show them that making plays can actually happen for you. And I got the mindset of if it happened in practice, it could definitely happen in the game. Right. So now I'm working on trying to be more of a vocal leader and actually talk more up on the defense.
Yeah. In terms of the offensive side, again, Coach Fagans, what have you enjoyed about Kahari Lane so far? Coming back to the program, he's off a 2,200-yard season, over 20 total touchdowns on the year. It's got to be nice having a guy that was with the program last year kind of leading it again this year on the offensive end.
That's one of the best things about being a coordinator. You have a coach on the field.
Yeah.
That's the best way to say he's a coach on the field. He sees everything. And if he missed something, he wants to know what he missed. So it makes my world a lot easier. So when I call a play, if it doesn't work, blame on Kahari.
Well, guys, let's start looking forward to what we have coming up this week, Saturday, 7 o'clock. First kickoff of the year, UNC Pembroke coming to town. They're a good program, but we haven't seen them at Fayetteville State since 2016. That was the last matchup between the two schools, and there's some really good matchups in the all-time history between the two sides. I think half the games have been within one score. So, Coach, what are you expecting this week, and what's most important for you to see out of your guys week one as you try and put it together in a real full-on game for the first time this year?
Well, I'm expecting a really exciting game. Going into the first game and us not having seen them in a while, it's kind of an unknown there. We don't know a lot about their personnel, and they probably don't know much about ours. Yeah. We don't exchange film on the first game, so it's pretty much us focusing on ourselves and making sure that we're sharp on what we're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
What we expect from the tradition is, we expect to win the game. We've tried it 8 times. I've had one crack at them. The last time we played them in 2016, we went down there and they whipped us pretty good. So we're looking forward to try to avenge that loss and come out and start the season off strong.
Michael, I'm curious. An offensive lineman, you're right down there in the trenches, so you're getting the first look at like everything Pembroke's bringing you right away. Does it usually take, when you don't have a ton of tape necessarily on a team and you're seeing their personnel for the first time, does it take you usually a quarter or so to get acclimated to that setting, and especially being the first game of the year? How long do you think it'll take to really get kind of settled in?
Really, if I stick to my technique, do what I was coached to do,
Yeah.
I feel like it takes care of itself. So, it do take a little quarter to figure out what his moves is and all that good stuff. But I think if I stick to my technique, it'll be all right.
Yeah. Coach Fagans, one more thing I was going to ask you about the offensive side of things is, last year it was really unique looks that we were able to do with the running game and stuff, with Donchell Jaton being the pass catcher, and then you have Darnell Walker, more of your goal line guy. On the running side of things, what can we expect? Is it kind of a multi-use group again this year, versatile group that can do
one of the
everything?
great things here too, we talk about Kahari, but Coach A is known for his running backs.
Yeah.
I don't know how great the three that we have coming back, and we have more than three, but we have three that I think can fulfill the role of with Smiley being a catcher, you got Finner that being a bruiser, you got Eli Henry being a slasher. Mm-hmm. So those three will be used a lot in those roles.
Mm-hmm. Brandon, I'll ask you, you got to play in front of that FSU crowd last year, but you started the season on the road. It was a little while before you finally got to come back to Nick Gerald Stadium and play some ball. And what do you think it'll be like starting the season at home this year? You like coming home right away and getting the season started here in Fayetteville?
Most definitely, because I feel like we've been out there grinding every day, by ourselves. So just to be able to have the fans pack the stadium and really show what we've been doing is really going to pay off. It's going to be a real good light show.
Yeah. Last thing, guys, is taking a quick look at the preseason rankings. I don't know how much time you really invest in any of that stuff, but no shock to see the Broncos favored to win the South again this year, and of course Bowie State right up there at the north, and that's kind of been the two schools dominating the conference over the last few years. Is there much? I'll kind of let any coach that wants to take a stab at it answer, but is there much motivation or looking at those standings and focusing on trying to get back to that championship game again this year and obviously have the result go your way this time around? Or is that one of the motivators when you look at those preseason standings?
It's tremendous motivation. I say it every time, that is the goal for us every year, is to win the CIAA South and make it to the CIAA championship game, and our goals don't change.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Well, we're looking forward to kickoff week 1, 7 o'clock this Saturday with UNC Pembroke coming into town. And, of course, we'll be there. Myself, Nate Gant on the call, and the whole FSU student fan base will be cheering you guys on. So thanks again for taking the time, and good luck this weekend in week 1.
Thank you.